Hey everybody, and welcome to 2021. So I didn't remember that I had all of this footage of Sarah Sanderson, and I know I've been trying to collect it. It took me way too long to do this. So this video is of the bodice that I made, and it's about an hour and 20 minutes long, I think, because it's just crazy. I start talking probably about 8-9 minutes into the video, where I do just, I'm talking as I work. But these first pieces, the video footage is so bad because it's old, and I found it, so I decided to go ahead and include it so you could see, the process, which is basically the same thing I always do every single time. So I just speed it up, but I just taped her up and made the bodice, So I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you had a really great New Year as well. I have to tell you, while you're watching what I'm doing here, that my Christmas was crazy. So around New Year's Eve, I cooked all day on New Year's Eve. I worked up until the day before New Year's trying to get this doll ready to send to a client. It was a gift, and I was late as it was. And I couldn't even mail it until after Christmas, but I got her done, and I just wanted to at least get a picture of the doll to her. That was Ginger Gumdrops. I posted a picture of her, but she was basically the same as Candy Cane. So I didn't take the time to video. I started to videotape her, but then I thought, you know what, I really need to finish this. So I just went ahead and got her done. And I thought she came out so cute. But that next day, I started to cook for Christmas Day. I like to pre-cook some of the food and just put it in the fridge so I can pop it in the oven the next day, and it's not as much work. So I was doing well and made my cookies and things like that. And around 3:30, I got a migraine, and it was a blinding optical migraine. I don't know. I don't get migraines very often. I think it's my second one ever in my whole life. And the first thing I noticed was that my vision went. It was just like everything was so bright, and I couldn't see anything very well because it was just oversaturated. So I put sunglasses on in the house. And I thought, you know what? I didn't eat today, so I think I'll sit down and I'll eat something, and I'll just rest for a little bit. And then the headache hit, and it was just, I call it a headache, but it really isn't one. It's so different. It's just this pain in your head. Mine was above my eye on one side of my head, and it was just like, I can't really describe it. So I closed my eyes and just sat on the couch for a little while after I ate. And then I was like, you know what? The light from even the windows was bothering me. So I thought I would go in my room and just lay down, turn off the lights and lay down. And on my way to the bedroom, I got sick. The nausea just hit me, and I lost my food, and I was just like, okay, nothing was going to happen at all the rest of the day. I was just going to have to, I called my husband, and he came home. He had to work that day, so he came home and brought me some migraine medicine and dinner, and I felt much better by the evening, just bruised in the area where it hurt. So then the next day, I got up and I thought I'll just start cooking right away. Well, I couldn't do that because somewhere around 1 o'clock in the morning on, I guess it would be Christmas morning by that time, we had a storm come through, and it blew out our electricity. And it was trees had pulled down some power lines, so it wasn't an easy fix. And so the next day we had no power at all. My husband pulled out a generator. We, try to save the food. We canceled Christmas with my daughter and her husband, and we have a girl across the street that's like part of the family, and we just canceled the whole thing on Christmas Day because there was nothing we could do. We had the generator running and everything, and somewhere around, I don't know, maybe 5 o'clock, 4:30, something like that on Christmas, they came out and repaired it on Christmas Day. And we ended up eating some leftovers and watching Wonder Woman. So that was fine. It worked out okay. But the next day, we were in a rush to get a refrigerator because I hope this is self-explanatory that you're watching here. I just looked over at it. But I think I explain it when I'm talking, so no worries. Anyway, so it blew out our refrigerator, or it fried it, as well as a couple of small appliances. So then we didn't have a refrigerator, and I didn't notice it until the next morning that it wasn't cooling anymore. And I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? There was no way to get a refrigerator delivered that day. And we didn't have any way of picking it up. We just didn't have anybody that could do it for us, and we didn't have any way of doing it. So we got on Facebook Marketplace, and we found some guys who had a refrigerator that looked okay. God please, that it was okay, but it turned out all right. They delivered it around 6:30. I think the whole thing cost us about $435 because they charge us for delivery, $2.99 for the fridge, and they charge us to bring it in the house. Because it was kind of a pain. They had to go around the backyard and go through our back door because it was too big to go through the front. So they left, and we had 2 refrigerators in the kitchen. So we did a marathon of emptying out the refrigerator and getting everything into the new refrigerator and all plugged in and everything. And we were just going to worry about that refrigerator the next day. And that's the day, that was Sunday, I had planned to have Christmas. So Sunday morning we wake up and clean up everything that we could and get ready. I started cooking, and the kids were going to be there around 3:30. I think they got there around 4. And so, but we couldn't get that refrigerator, the other refrigerator, out of the kitchen. So we called, we put out an APB sort of on Facebook, and this guy came over and helped us get it out. So thanks to the guy. He took some cookies, and he was going to take the refrigerator, but he did some research and said that there was no fixing it, that it blew the compressor or something like that. So we have a refrigerator, and it's the same year as the one that we already had, like a 2004, nothing new. But it was a much nicer model than the one I used to have. I think it was a $2,000 refrigerator in its day. So really nice, much bigger. And that all worked out. And our Christmas turned out really, really good. But I have to say that I was so tired. And it was sort of like meltdown after that. After everybody left, all the stress of it was over. I just didn't move a lot after. I don't know. That was just a lot to happen all in, on the holidays, no less. So that was my Christmas, and we still haven't had Christmas with Paul's kids, which I think his son had COVID, so he couldn't come over, and he couldn't go anywhere. He ended up staying in a hotel, of all things, for his Christmas, which is awful. But he never really got sick. He was just positive, but otherwise he felt fine. He's young, like 23, so. And I think that's it. So his kids will be coming over here soon. I ran out of time. Hey everybody. So today I am checking my thing. I just don't understand. Every time I try to record, it's just bizarre. I'm trying to learn. If I set it on one setting, I only get 10 minutes. If I set it on another one, I get a black bar on the other top and the bottom. I'm just not sure which way to go. So I guess I just need to watch my time. So this project here, I started when, by accident actually. I was supposed to be doing the the Ariel gown, and I just started doing the Sarah Sanderson gown. And then I realized my mistake, that Ariel had to be done first, so I put it all aside. This, of course, is the pattern, and I created it the same way. I believe it might be on my computer somewhere, in which case I will add it to this video, and you'll see how I came to this. I'm hoping I can find it. It's not on my camera anymore, so I don't know. But right here is a rose gold satin that I found online, I think. I can't remember where I got it. And I'm getting some fraying here. What I did was I'll take this piece off here. I took the rose gold, and then I overlaid it to kind of tone it down and make it look a little bit more witchy with tulle. And it was like a burgundy tulle. And then with my last Sarah Sanderson, I still felt like it was too bright. So I dunked it in some burgundy dye for just a little bit to kind of, I don't know, make it look witchier. So what I did when I overlaid it was I drew out my pattern, and you can kind of see the lines still from the pen. It was just the invisible ink pen, but you can still kind of see it a little bit. What I did was I just sewed down, right, like I just took the piece, I drew all these on top of it, then I overlaid it and pinned down all that tulle, and then I sewed the tulle down on top of it so that it would stay on here really nice before I actually attached this to this. I think if you look on here, you can still see, oh, here's F1. So you can still see where I wrote on the pieces here with the invisible ink. And fortunately, it's still here because this was months ago. So I have to sew these pieces together on the machine. Ugh, it's a fur ball. The fur ball's from yarn. Me trying to make those yarn hair wefts. Anyway, so here it is, and this would be the front half. So this is the doll, and I also had started painting her, and I did get all that. I found that footage, so I started painting her, and here's my almost finished face. So I'll finish the rest of it, but this part goes here like this. So this is the bodice, like that. And I just left this part long because it's going to come around like that, like a V point. So I still need to make another one of these. Getting stuck to her hair. I don't even have to do anything with her hair except for wash it. Like, look at her hair. It's perfect. Perfect. So I have to take these pieces, and I just kind of put them together to make sure everything was together. I love that I get these little furs. So that's F1, F2, front panel 1, front panel 2. I think there's a front panel 3. And then back 1 and back 2. And I need extra length on the back, which looks like I gave myself some here. Wait, you can't see it. So this would have gone here. This is the actual size as compared to, you know. So I believe I gave myself enough, but I think on the other half, when I do the other part of this, I'm going to give myself a little bit extra length on the other side. Plus, I have to also make a liner for this, and I won't do it in the rose gold. I'll do it in a white fabric. So this is where I'm at right now, starting a project, and for some reason, I just don't want to do it. I don't know why. Once I get into it, I think I'll be fine, but it's just like one of those things where I knew how hard the Sarah Sanderson costume was to make. So now all of a sudden I'm just like, I don't want to do it. I like to tackle new things and win. And the thing is this costume will probably come out even better than the first one. So I don't know why I'm being weird about it. I just am. I have part of my, like, I've already made this part, so I just have to pull these pieces out and do the next step. Okay, I found my fabric, and one thing I've learned, and I showed this already, was that it's better to cut things on the bias because you get some stretch. So with this particular one, I didn't do it on this half, but at least I'll get a little stretch on the other half if I need it, you know, so I can pull a little bit just to make sure everything fits. So I'm going to lay everything out on here. So there's one, here's two. I'm going to make sure I give myself plenty of fabric. 3. Okay, I don't have enough going that way. Let's go a little bit over. I just want to make sure I have plenty of space. So when I cut it out, remember I wanted extra here, so I might have to go down here. I have plenty of fabric, it's just that it's on sideways here. Move out of my way. I guess I'll just move that one down there. That is okay, I think. Would have been easier if it was this way. But it is what it is. So let me go ahead and just pin them down so I can make sure they don't slip. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This should give me plenty of room. Okay, I just don't want them to slip out of the way once I've made my spot for where I want them to go. Okay, that should be more than enough space. Whoa. Let's get underneath. I just want to hold them in the spot so I can draw the pattern out. Let me move my camera down just a little bit. Yes, that's much better. Okay, here. I'm probably giving myself more room than I need, but you know, it's okay. It's better than not having enough. This would be 1. Do I have enough here? I think I can make it work. Is that upside down? Yeah. Okay. I think that's plenty of room. Okay, so we pin them all down. Oh, we pin them all down. Remember I broke a nail? Definitely had to cut that off. Okay, so I pinned them all down. Let me move this out of the way for a second. And grab my invisible pen. Just get something darker. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and draw. I think with satin, this stuff spreads. Spreads it out. Uh-oh. I've already messed up. And let me tell you how I messed up. And I won't do it on camera because it's a pain in the foot. I don't want to bore you. How I've messed up is all of these, this is the other side. So I need to flip these over so that the pattern is facing the other way. I hope that makes sense. So let me go do that. Okay, so now that I've corrected that, I flipped them all over because this fabric is not two-sided. So I needed everything to be facing the other way so I could, so this goes on one side. Is that upside down? Yeah. This goes this way, so I need one for the other way. So let me go ahead and start drawing again. And I'll go ahead and draw them all out. I could have just flipped the fabric over, I suppose, and done it that way as well. I guess it doesn't really matter. As long as I get it on here. Okay. All right, so I have them all drawn on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one off, flip them over, and make sure to write F1 on that one, and this is going to be the left side. I'm going to put an L there just to remind myself that this is the left side. So this is F2, and that is the left side, and so forth. Okay, so now that I have these like this, I'm just going to cut away some of the extra fabric so it's not in my way on the top two. Just cut some away, and then I'm going to overlay this with the burgundy tool. So let me just cut away some of this extra fabric so that I just sort of get that out of my way. All right, so this is the burgundy tool that I'm going to overlay on top of it, and what I need to do is I need to make sure it's nice and flat so that I can sew it down. So I'm just going to pin it on, and then I'll sew each section down before I even cut these apart. Pretty sure that's how I did it the last time. I didn't write myself instructions down or anything, but this way, when you sew it, when you go to sew it, you're not going to get wrinkles or anything in your tool, or it's not going to slip around while you're trying to sew on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin all this down. Go sew it, and I will be back to show you. Okay, so I have them all sewn together, you can see. And I think what happened with these is the invisible ink faded, so I might go back and redraw them before I sew so I can make sure I can see each piece. But let's just go ahead and cut these apart now that we have them sewn on like this. Just go ahead and cut them into all 5 pieces. And so the beauty of it, I'm just going to cut some excess off here. The beauty of this is that you can see how the tool is nice and flat on top of the. It's a lot of wasted fabric, isn't it, when you're sewing? What are you going to do? Let's make sure, because they're already fading. So it's hard to tell what they say. I might just go ahead and sew these together before those, since I already have them marked and I can still see them. Okay, let me get rid of all this. And there are all my pieces. So, of course, you want to go good side to good side. So this is F1. Look, you can barely see it. To F2. So, I think I'm lost already. Let me pull out my little pattern so I can make sure. It's just because it's hard to see. So I know it's backwards. So F2 and F1 look like this. Like this. So this one would look like this. And this one would look like this. But they go together like this. Like this. Right? Let's turn them over. Yeah. They go together like this. So this part is this part goes to this part. So it goes like this. So those two get pinned together. And I'll have to look. I just want to make sure I get the pieces together before I get more confused, because it's backwards from the other side. So I'm just going to pin them together. So we have 1, 2, so that looks good. So that would mean that this side would go to this side. So let's just make sure we're going backwards. I need F3. Nope, where's F3? F3. This is F3. Okay, say F3 backwards goes on this side. So this part goes to F2 to F3 like this. Okay. That's a problem drawing on the satin. It's really hard to see what you're doing. I wondered if I shouldn't do the sew line directly on the thing, but then you might be able to see it. You know, if I did this right on the line, I'd obviously be able to see it when I sew. But what if I could see it, you know, when I flip it back over? Okay, so then my next piece would be this guy. So this is B1, and he's backwards. They almost look identical backwards. So this side to this side, or is it this side to this side? I gotta put him over here so I can see. It's this side. Okay. See how easy it is to get confused? Well, for me anyway. I mean, you might be watching this going, oh my God, did she really get confused that easily? Yes, I really do. So I have to double check, triple check, and think about it. Okay, and my last piece this is F2 right here. So flipped over, that means this side would be right here and would connect to this side. Okay, so I have them all kind of, I'll readjust them, but I have them all in the right spots, so to speak. So these should be in the right spots, and that means that these two pieces, which way does this go? I have it written on the back. Okay, this is the top. So this piece will go together like that and make the middle part of the bodice. Obviously this side looks a lot neater. I was very sloppy on that side. It doesn't matter, I'll cut it all extra away. I was just being very, very neat over there. So let me try to connect all of my lines together, because I want to make sure I get the line from this side to this side so that it curves correctly to the body. So I'm gonna line them all up with my pins, sew it together, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, so I sewed these pieces together, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off some of this extra so I can try it on, and it's just really bulky. So let's just try to get rid of some of this extra stuff. I'm not going to do anything with, I'll cut some of that away, but not all of it yet, because I haven't sewn that together. Let's see here. Just make sure I cut it in the right spot. And is that everybody? Got some extra string. Is that everybody? It's so easy to get lost in this, you know? I guess this guy can be trimmed back. Okay. Boom. All right, so that should be, I sewed along the line here so I didn't lose it, because this part, it's open. So I, in the front of the bodice, the top part's open. So I just kind of tacked that down a little bit so I wouldn't lose it. Okay, I have a body that I can use to try the bodice part on. So it's going to be about here, and it just comes around like that. So you can see, I think, how pretty this is going to be and how it just sort of lays down so pretty against each piece. And now I'm going to have to sew the other side together and then put these two together, so I'll be right back. Okay, in order for me to be able to sew this together, all of the ink has faded, so I grabbed a darker color, and I'm going to quickly mark where I want to sew this so that I make sure I can see exactly where to sew it so that it will fit. So I'm just going to mark, I'm just going to go ahead and mark them as my sew spots. So that is one, and you can see that that'll be, you can kind of see through it too. That's okay, these fade. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark number 2. It's fine, number 2. So this is F2, and I'm going to turn that upside down so it's facing the correct way, hopefully. And then I'll have to repin it. So I think I'm just going to do one at a time here, and I will be back. Okay, so I sewed the whole thing together, and I tell you, it's a big giant mess, but I'm going to make this work. I really am. I just have to, I have to figure out where my errors are. I can see the middle part here, this part. One side is way bigger than the other, so I'm going to have to go in. I think I'm going to have to take those apart and re-stitch this so I can tuck that in a little bit more, but let me check the rest and see. I'm happy enough. It's just this one right here, and I don't know if I need to take it in here as well. Let's see here. Let's just take a look. I'm holding it like in an odd angle. I definitely don't feel like I gave myself enough room on that side when I cut it originally. So it's a good thing I gave myself more on the other side, because that is not a good fit. Okay, yeah, I did. I gave myself plenty of space. Just lay her down. She feels stretching that way. Yikes. Oh, there's a piece of fur on me. I just knocked stuff over trying to get it off. Alright, so this is supposed to be the, I don't know. We're adjusting at this point because, you know, if I had cut everything and sewn it at the same time, I think it's easier, but because I did this other piece before, so let's see here. I've got one, this is supposed to be a back piece, so already I have this over the wrong way. Let me adjust this. I'll be right back. Okay, well, I clearly have some issues. I'm going to cut some of this extra off because it's distracting. I don't need all of it. I'm going to be flipping this over, you know, because it's going to be lined, so it's going to go on the other side, but I have an absolutely perfect side over here, and I do not know what happened over here. Just, it's just not right. It's, I've sewn it too big. Like this side, this piece here is fine. It looks like this is very similar to this one. This piece is clearly too big. So I think what I have to do is flip them upside down and figure out my issues. That's so fun. Okay, so I have it flipped over, and it's just as confusing on this side as it is on the other side. So let's take a look and see. This side actually looks really nice. That was the one that flipped over, was on that side. But I think like my F1 here looks really pretty, and over here, not so much. So I'm wondering if it's the center part or over here. Let's see here. That side could be a little smaller over here. So I might have to nip it up a little bit right here. Let's just try to make this work. And I do believe this side is a lot smaller than this side, which makes me think I'm gonna have to take this piece out on this side, like take these two pieces apart, because you can see where my line is here. I'll draw it. I can see it a little bit better. I guess I could not see it when I was sewing. You can see where my line is here, and it doesn't line up to here. And I can't take anything away from here, so I'm gonna have to pull these two apart. So let me go do that. Okay, so what I've done is I pulled the two middle pieces apart, and I have pinned them together. So I'm going to sew those up, and that's what it should look like when I'm done sewing them. They are much closer together. And then over here, these are not bad. Then I go to the next section, and I think I added a pin to one of these somewhere to correct. But then we get down to this part here, and they look pretty even. And now this part over here looks a little bit smaller than this part. So I think I can see where my mistake is over here. Even though this looked better, I'm gonna trim it up a little bit there to make this look a little bit closer to that side, I think. Yeah, I need to do it twice here and here, just a little bit closer on those sides to match them up. And right here, of course, I don't want to take a lot more off of that side. Let me see. Let's lay it down and see how it looks. Now they're taking that middle part out, because that middle part was really bad. Okay, so, well, it's all gappy because of the now I feel like I'm losing a little bit of that curve on this side. Like this one's curved so pretty, and this side looks funky, but let me take these pins out and check that before I just make a decision to sew them, because it seems like they already have the nice curve. This one's curved better. I can tell you right now it's not perfect. I got a little bit more curve on one side than the other. Just a little though. I think the two backs, they go like that. That line should go down the middle. Like right on this line is where this line should be. And then over here, same deal. This line should be here. And well, it looks like a hot mess, but let's sew it down and see if it looks better. And then I'll see if I have to adjust anything else. Does that need to be adjusted on that side? Definitely. Okay, so I've also got this one I gotta sew up right here. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, so I have it pinned down. It's a little over to the side where I have it pinned, so I've lost a little space on this side, just a fraction. But so far, it looks like it's fitting. I'm getting some bulking here. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it needs to be reduced. Let's see here. That's one. That's middle. I think maybe right here it needs to be reduced down. Down here needs to come in, and that will alleviate some of that bulkiness right there. So I'm going to flip that over. I better mark it so I can kind of find it. But this here, see how that's a nice tight line there? And then these here need to be tightened up to be more like that. But also remember that this is going to be cut like up here. Like her bodice is short. So I'll take this here and determining somewhere, she has a pretty good front thing, but it's going to come around like that. This doesn't matter because I'm going to be this will all disappear, but somewhere around there, all of this is extra. It's all going to get cut off. And the top, well, it won't get cut off. It'll get folded under because there's going to be a lining. And then the top here, you know, she's fairly, I might actually be a little short here, because I might be a little short here. I might have to pull it down. But this part will come down. That's almost showing a whole boob, so I'm too low. There's some adjustments that need to be made. There's no question. So let me turn it over, flip it. I want to kind of remember this one, so I think I'm going to put a pin here. So when I flip it, I remember that I need to make these parts smaller. Smaller is easier than trying to make it bigger. Okay, let's take all these pins out. Look, there's one more. Okay, there we go. So this is where I'm going to have to make my adjustment, and I'm gonna just put that pin right there. All right, seeing this side is really hard for me. I want that to be here. See, I need enough room. I want to have, let's bring it up a little bit. Yeah, we're going to bring that up a little bit because that's got to fold over this way. And I've lost all my lines basically. But this is going to fold in like this. Well, you know, it'll be lined, so this side's bigger. But I think we're getting there. I need to cut some of this extra off. I think we're getting there. If I could get rid of some of this extra, I might be able to see. So let me clean it up a little bit and put it on her. Okay, so some people might just start over, but not me. I'm just going to keep pushing until I get what I want. Because when I did this other side, I have completely two different sides. Like you can see, I've messed up, sincerely messed up. But I'm going to keep plugging away and making this work. That was why my front wasn't fitting right, because my back is probably higher on that side than this one. That's okay. I can fix it. Now, right here at the base, I'm looking to get these a little bit more narrow. So I've got that one there, and this one is a little bit big. So I'm just going to take my pen, or my straight pin here, and I'm going to make those smaller right there. I just want to kind of bring that over so that that will be sewn smaller. I might even want to draw on it so I can make sure that when I sew it, I get the skinny line that I'm looking for on both sides. So there we go. And then this one, the same thing. I just need to make it smaller. So I believe I'm in the middle-ish here. I wish I had sewn both on the bias because one's stretchy, but at least it gives me some space. So these pieces here have to go over, not exactly like this. They seem to be okay lined up. It's this side that's just like crazy too tall. And what I should do, and you know, I hope I'm right, is just cut the extra off, you know? Let's hope I didn't just completely destroy anything. I don't think so. I think it's okay. I just need to line it up, you know? So one side's really long and one side's really short, but these won't matter anyway because they don't need to be this, they don't need to be this long. So I'm just going to clean up my lines right there on the mannequin. I just have to sew these 2 pieces, and then, oh God, I have to make this all over again in a white thin fabric as my liner. So wish me luck, because this was really hard. And it was probably because I made this side a long time ago, and then I made this one today. So instead of drawing it all at once, I screwed up. But I think I'm going to be able to salvage it. I hope so. I hope so. I hope I can make it work. Cut some of that extra off right there. And then I can sew the other piece on this. I have to clean up all these lines too. I don't know how much got cut off. I can always just splice together. So what I did was I cut off all the excess because one side was much bigger than the other. I don't know if I was just super uneven or what, but because I had made this part a long time ago and then I made this part today, it was hard to put them together. It was like 2 crazy puzzles. But I'm going to make the white one that's going to be the liner, and I'll do that all at one piece. I'll just do that off camera, all in one piece. Wish me luck. And then I'll put it, you know, bad side or good side to good side, sew them together along this way and this way, and then flip them inside out. And then I should have nice clean lines all the way around. I can sew flat. I don't remember how I did this part, but you know, I'll figure it out. I don't remember, but I have just barely enough here to work with. Like, look how short that is. So wish me luck. Okay, so I have this adjusted, I think, as far as I'm going to adjust it. It doesn't, I just pinned it on here, hairy-carry, but I think by the time I cut away some of this bottom part, it's going to be just fine. And it's not exactly perfect, but it's pretty close. And remember that these parts will be folded in. They'll actually be attached to the inside lining. So it'll go like this around the edges. And that'll obviously look much nicer than it does right now. But basically, I think I have a bodice. And I don't know how we got here because it looked like a hot mess, but it looks like it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So I do have to trim away some of this. But I want to make sure I adjust it on the body here. I'll probably put it on the regular body just to make sure, because this is always a little bit bigger, just a fraction bit bigger than the actual doll. I also forgot to say I cleaned it all up on the inside, so you can see all the clean zigzag lines on the inside. So, okay, so I've got it on the body, and I've obviously got plenty of room back here to work with. Everything looks lined up pretty good, but look at this side. Like, what in the heck was I thinking when I cut that off, right? Like, I just butchered that side. So she is going to have a lot of boobie showing. Let's see here. I'm not going to have a lot of space here, but if I fold this over, I mean, we're talking, this side is fine, but let's just line them up together. They're actually, I did not give myself much room here. I don't even know how I lost it, but I sure did. So, I mean, we're talking like here is where it's going to be. I'll do my best. Try to pull that side up a little bit. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sewing the lining. I'm not getting a very good curve right there. I'm getting a better curve on that side. I'm going to be sewing the lining here, and I'm going to go as close as I can to the edge because I obviously didn't give myself very much room. So when I flip it over, maybe I'll, you know, maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll be okay. Wish me luck on this one. I mean, all I've asked is for luck, because when it comes to sewing, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. and showing you what I'm doing. So, but this sure came out pretty, didn't it? I mean, it's beautiful bodice. And then remember, once I get it all attached, I think, God forbid I have to do it again. If I have to make this bodice again, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make the lining. I like to do the embroidery before I do the liner, but maybe I'll just sew the top part just to make sure that this fits, because I may have to do it all over again. And if I do, that's the video you'll see, not this one. But hopefully I won't have to, because I hate to redo anything. But I may have to, because this should be up to here. I should have plenty here, and I really, not even on this side. I have more, but on this side, I think I was cut it off like a crazy person, and now I've given myself some problems, but we'll see. We will see. And I also didn't look like, when I made the bodice, I forgot to make the straps when I made the original thing, so I'll have to do that too. Hey, well, because I always start everything with sew, I decided not to, but here it is. And look, there's a little springiness to it, but it's all sewn, all neatly stitched up in the back, and I can see all my lines, which I think was the problem with my last one, because they all disappeared, at least on one side. Where's my girl? So let me grab her outfit, her other side, and see what happens. Since I have this all ready to go. I know I've taken all day long just to make this bodice, but whatever. So the pretty side to the pretty side. I've got some strings here. We don't want those. Just try to clip those away. I must have missed them. Don't like any strings. I also didn't feel like ironing this piece of fabric, so I used my straightener. It was right here. It almost singed it, so be careful if you want to try that. I kept it at the lowest setting, but you know. Okay, whew, here we go. Now what I have to do is I don't really remember what I did here. And maybe I just sewed them right up and flipped them around. I probably did. So I'm going to, I've given myself a little bit more space on those, it looks like. I'm just going to pin this all together inside to outside and cross my fingers that I'm not exactly lined up, but that's okay, just as long as it's pretty close. Remember, I don't have a lot of room here because of the cutting away too much. Like a doofus. So I showed you, I think before, my little doll that I use as a pincushion over there. And I was watching this show on Netflix called, I think I'm going to save that till last. I think I'll do that last. I'm just not sure about it yet, you know. Let me try to get these lined up. Anyway, I was watching that show and there were dolls in it. Dolls scare me. I think I've mentioned it before. Give me the heebie-jeebies. And so for some reason, my little pincushion girl was giving me the heebie-jeebies. And I was like, okay, that's a first. Because, you know, I made that. And I don't know. I looked over at her and I was just like, oh. I don't know if you've watched that or you like that kind of thing. It's a very gothic ghost story. And I like those, but they do scare me more than slasher films. Slasher films are scary, but more of the jump scare kind of thing. And this had a few jump scares, but it's just more creepy, you know? It gives you the creepies. All right, so this is what I'm hoping for. I don't know if I'm even either because one side was so low, you know, so I'm not sure. Just kind of want to flip it over and take a look. These have to be attached. I didn't attach those. But, I mean, it does look lower, doesn't it? I wonder if I can raise it up a little bit more. Where's my mannequin? Let's put it on her just to kind of get a clue here. All right, so it's going to go under the arm like that. And that one like that. There's the middle. I definitely have more space over here than over here. I'm going to see if I can't still some more on that side before I actually sew it. I think I'm just as close as I can get. I'm going to try though. Let's take a look. Oof, I have not given myself much space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew it as is, and if I have to, I'll take more off of this side. And also if I have to, I'll embellish to try to make up for my mistake. So I don't want to make it again. So I think I'm pretty even, and I'm just going to go do it. I honestly think maybe I got away with it. I think so. It's just enough that I think it covers her boob. So, whew, I mean, that was a close call, and I took a little bit more off that side since I had more space. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and seal those two up, down that way and down that way, and then I will run a line like around the edges to hold this down flat. Remember, this is all going to be embroidered, is that the word? As well. And fortunately, I still have the line on the back here for where it's supposed to go on her. So I think that's nice, and I won't get rid of that. So this will be sewn together as well. Okay, guys, listen. This is not my best work. I admit it. I admit it 100%. And I would start over if she wasn't a witch. And I couldn't make this work with some embellishments and the ties and she's got like straps here. I can make it work, but I'm going to tell you, it's not my best work. It really isn't. And this is what happens when you are not in the mood, but you're forcing yourself to do something. This side's not bad. I don't know why I'm not getting the curve that I want. Like, the whole thing has been trying, every last bit of it. And still, I think it's going to end up beautiful. I really do. I barely have enough length back here. This looks too high, so I don't exactly know what's going on there. Probably cut it wrong. But by the time it's done, it's going to look great. So I'm going to try it on the doll. I'm not going to sew the bottom part to this part and flip it over yet. I think it goes around about to here. So this part will get all like tucked inside. You know what I'm saying. So the bodice is only like to here. I'm not going to do that yet because I want to embroider, and I don't know if I want to do the embroidery all the way through or if I want to hide it. I'm still thinking about that part. I'm not sure yet. So anyway, yeah, it's a struggle. My first one came out way better. And this is a lesson for me that I don't really like to repeat myself. I just don't. And this is the result. So I don't think I can fix it. But like I said, she's a tattery witch and she's not perfect anyway. So I think that's the only reason why I can get away with it. Okay, I put it on the doll and I literally hate it. It's not working. So what I'm going to do is not this piece because I was just kind of playing around with it. I'll need my cover on this and everything like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it up like this, like a border around the edge to fix my horrible mistake and clean up my edges and make this look sharper. I have to do it on both sides. This one's not too bad over here. But this one is just, I don't know, it's too small. So rather than redo the whole thing, I'm going to correct it. I need a bigger piece than this. But what I'll do is I'll sew that on upside down like this, all along the edge. And I'll already have had it covered with this. So it'll be like these two pieces. They'll be sewn down like this and then flipped over, and this will give me a little bit more to work with. And it'll still look awesome. So that's what I'm going to have to do. And I don't know if I have it in me today. I'm going to be honest. It just didn't work out well for me. There's the other part of me that probably should just go ahead and make another one, but I'm going to try to fix this one. And if I see myself failing, I'll quit and I'll start all over again. And this came together in the back really nice, and it was fine. Until I attached to the front, and then I started getting some problems. So yeah, I'm struggling over here, and while tattered is okay for this, it's just not, I mean, it's just not fitting properly. So I guess I'm trying to decide if I have the energy for it today. I'm gonna try. I still have, my husband doesn't come home for another 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's 2 hours for me to try to correct this. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a pattern. Let me do it on the other side. And I want to do it, let me cut this in half because it's too long. Got one for one side and one for the other side. So let's put that over there. So I think what I want to do is make a pattern just using this. Yeah, so I'll get the curve right, basically. And I want to fix this. I kind of want to correct it because it looks bad. So there's the curve, and maybe I was supposed to go this way. I'm making this up as I go. Probably need to go out a little bit. So I'm going to want to cup that over, make it a little bit longer. Maybe this way. And did I go on the bias? I did not. Let's try that again. The bias is sideways. Sideways. Let's try that again. Okay. Ignoring those lines. Okay. Bias. Okay. So here is my line. And I'm pretty sure I need to go this way. This way. I want to give myself plenty of space. Uh-oh. Really? Woo! I am having some trouble today. Maybe my brain is just not working, you know? So I can just get it to right there. That should be plenty big enough. Well, I hope I can follow one of those lines. You know? Because that's just hideous. And I went on the bias so that I can actually... So I can stretch it, you know, in case I need some stretchy. Okay, so I would, I'm just doing this crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. I think that was supposed to go on that side, but whatever. Whatever, let's put the lid on this. Let's just see if I can make it work, okay? I don't know. I'm making it up as I go, so don't exactly know. I don't exactly know what I'm doing. I want to get up really close to the thing here, like as close as I can get. That's where I'll attach it. And the problem is I don't have anything there that needs to be there, so I'm going to square that off. Okay. Is that going to work? Need to kind of curve that down. And then I can pin it here. Okay. And then this gives me plenty of space. I wonder if I should do it like that. You know, give it like some thickness. I can't really try it on the doll very well because of the, I'll try it on the mannequin. So let me just bend it over one time. Put that right in the middle. And I do believe this will give me the extra that I need. You know? I think so. I think it's going to give me the extra that will make up for what I lost there by accident. And I can kind of tuck that down further as it goes back because the sides were fine. It was just that front part I was losing. I can make that a little bit bigger and, you know, it'll just be original, right? I have to go sew this down so it's so it stays on and it's easier for me to mess with. So I'm just going to do one side at a time. Okay, it's time to attach these. It's going to be a little thick on my machine. It doesn't really particularly care for this kind of thing. Well, I better make sure that I pull it up far enough. You don't see the line. Yeah. Alright. I guess I should sew on the other side because I'll move the pins. Let me just get it down. Then I'll turn it over and move the repin in the back because I think I want to sew here because I want to sew where I can see it. So I'll just repin on the back now that I have it where I want it. I'll just pin. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, you are seeing the raw me. That is for sure. This week has been, I'm exhausted. I'm not gonna lie. I am so tired. And I guess I didn't realize how much I was benefiting from my husband being home. You know, I have more work day, that's for sure, but I'm way more tired. Oh my God. Okay, so I got that down and I'm gonna have to sew on top of that to get this part to lay down right, because that won't lay right otherwise. So I'm going to pin it. Poor machine. How many layers can you do? So now, oh, you know what? I can't just leave it loosey-goosey like that in the back, can I? And I don't want it to be this thick. I think I'm going to have to run another, I think I'm going to have to cut it. I think I'm going to have to fold it under like that. I think this is what I'm going to have to do so that it looks neat on both sides. I can't think of any other way. I just cut it like nobody's business. I didn't even think about it. I just did it. Because I'm straight up crazy right now. Alright, don't forget this is the lay down. Squared off somehow. Okay, here's another dilemma of mine. I want to make sure this gets laid down correctly. So far, like that. And then this part has to fold over too and hide underneath. Okay. My motto is never give up, never surrender, apparently. Until I have to. Sleep deprivation is ugly. Okay, I think for this I'd want to tuck it inside here. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that yet. Well, obviously it's too big, so let me cut a little bit of it off. Oh. So, do I want to try to tuck it in there? You know what would work really good? An iron. An iron would be very beneficial right now because I could just flatten it out and make everything look good before I try to sew it. And I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to sew this right down because I'm crazy like that. I would like to sew top stitch though. You know? Got some of that left over. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'd like to stitch it from the top, not underneath. So I'm going to have to change my pins to the front now so I can run it through the machine this way. There's one. Okay. And that's it. Okay. I'm still working on this, but my timer went out. Ow. Okay. Ugh. I'm going to have to change the needle after this job. Okay, and one more in the front, and I'll take that one out in the back. I just want to make sure they're all down. Improvising. This is what's happening right now. Total improvising. It doesn't look like I made it all the way through. Try that again. Oh. Okay. All right, I still have an answer for this, but I'm going to come up with something, I swear. I think I want to tuck it inside. I would use my straightening iron, but I'm afraid it would melt this. Okay. So, other than fixing this part, this has to be, like, this gets a tie up right here in the middle. So this will get tied up. And that'll tighten it a little bit. And then I'll put the pins in the back. So right now they're not really, it's not in the back, it's pinned too far apart. But I'll fix that when I pin those two pieces together. I guess I could just do that. But so this I need to tuck inside somehow. But as far as I can see, I don't need to go all the way over. As far as I can see, I think I may have fixed my too much boobs. And then what I'll have to do here, like here's a piece right here. This right here will be a sleeve, which is attached somewhere around here and comes around. She has a sleeve. Oh, this is not working. Let me just pin it on ugly and show you. So a sleeve will go on somewhere around here, and it will also give me some support. I don't like the way that looks, but you know what I mean. Like it'll give me some support right there as well. So I think this part, this little part here, and then I can just square that off real nice, more square, and then that'll get tied to that one. I have to do this side too. I think I can get away with it. I think so. I don't know. I'm just a tiny bit crooked, but if I can just save this, I'd be so happy. So I'm going to try to tuck this one in before I even attempt to do that one. But I think the fact that I gave this a little bit of a stretch on the bias, that really helps too. So off I go. I'm going to tuck this in. I guess I could leave the video running and you could actually I'm surprised I'm not cursing at this point. Because to be honest, this is not how I wanted things to go. Let's try a tool. I wanted to sculpt today. That's really what I wanted to do. My mind was on sculpting, and when I was over by the, I think this is too big. When I was over by my sewing machine, I found this tool. Let's see if I can find it. It's getting messy up here. I got to clean up. I found it. Here it is. I found this tool so that I could, like a little round tool for like making smoothing, and I was like, oh, I want to sculpt. But I have to do a commission, and it's very important that this get done because I promised I would do it, and I'm very behind with it. So I haven't really taken any more commissions either. I'm trying to just catch up on the ones I have because I ended up with too many, and it really got bogged down, you know. Come on, go in. I'm sure that there was a better way of doing this, but today was not that day for me thinking of how to get this to go in. I feel like I'm almost there. Maybe, is it because it's sewn? It might be because it's sewn together too close to the edge. Let's see here. I might have to cut that part. Can I see? I might have to cut it down a little bit. I'm sure a seam ripper would have been better than trying to use my giant scissors here. Why would I bother to do that? No, I can't get it apart. All right, I can see my seam ripper from here. Let me grab it. Okay. All right, I found it. I want to take this back a little so it'll tuck in better. It's too big. Okay. Let's see if that helped. So, I'm going to try to tuck this all inside and make it nice and neat. Come on. Let's be friends. It knows somewhere, something knows I'm on my last ounce. I've got leftovers for dinner, so I don't have to worry about that. I think that was all I had to do, was kind of tuck that in. Hey, this little tool is not bad. I don't even know what prompted me to buy this at the Dollar Tree, but one day I just bought it, probably for my teeth, and it's been in my office this whole time. Let me pin it and see if I've got it far enough. And then I saw somebody using it for sculpting, and I was like, huh. And now look, I'm using it to try to tuck something in. Oh, I don't know. I might have just messed it up. I think I just messed it up. Okay, I might have to tack this down by hand with a needle and thread before I can use the machine. I'm getting some frayed pieces. La, 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 la. I wonder if I could use glue, like a little bit of fabric glue to kind of hold it in place. I don't know. It's really giving me the business though, isn't it? You think it going further? Just a little bit further? Alright, I'm going to spare you guys the pain of this. Alright, I am definitely going to try a little glue. Pray for me it doesn't get seepy. I shouldn't do it that way. That's not safe. Grab one of these. I'll put some here. Uh-oh. Are you coming out? There you go. That's all I really need. Oh, I got some on my finger. And I'll use a toothpick. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'll use a toothpick and I'm just going to tuck it in there like that. And then just hold it in place. This stuff, it glues pretty quickly. So I'm just going to kind of tuck and glue and pray. You know what I have for this that works really great? Let me grab it and I'll show you because I've only got one hand now. Okay, so I got these at the Dollar Tree, and you can just hold down your fabric like that until it dries. And it works great.